We're going to issue a dividend to our middle-income people and lower-income people of about $2,000, and we're going to use the remaining tariffs to lower our debt. We're going to be lowering our debt, which is a national security thing. So we're doing a lot of good work. And the numbers were reported so incorrectly. The real numbers are trillions of dollars have been taken in or gotten in terms of investment from the tariffs. And so if that were ever reversed, it would be a disaster. Frankly, it would be a national security problem for our country. And nobody thinks it's going to be reversed. I think we had a very good court case. As you know, it's before the Supreme Court right now. But if that were ever reversed, you know, people are saying, oh, it's $1 billion. Some people said, oh, it's $2 billion. Well, that obviously we can handle very easily. But this is trillions of dollars we're talking about in terms of the tariff income and all the investment income that's come into our country. You know, I hope that we're going to be able to have a health care where Lindsay and I were discussing it, Jim and I were discussing it, and Katie, we discussed it. We want a health care system where we pay the money to the people instead of the insurance companies. And I tell you, we're going to be working on that very hard over the next short period of time, where the people get the money. We're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars where the people get the money.
Today, we've sent a letter and launched an investigation into J.P. Morgan Chase Bank after alarming revelations about their coordinated efforts with Jack Smith and the Department of Justice as part of the Biden administration's Operation Arctic Frost, where we now know Biden officials went after their political enemies. It's come to our attention that J.P. Morgan debanked Trump Media Group, a Florida-based company, right before the business went public. This is a crucial time for any company, a time where you cannot afford to lose your bank. In addition, we're aware that J.P. Morgan Bank solicited tons of information from Trump Media, unrelated to their business practices, and we believe provided sensitive banking information to the Department of Justice without real probable cause. This is wrong, we will not tolerate it, and we will hold them accountable. Here in Florida, we've passed legislation to protect our consumers from wrongful debanking, and we will stand by our consumers. Thank you.
Clayton is a longtime Wall Street attorney, and he cannot be involved in decisions regarding any of his clients or the clients of his law firm for 2 years. Those included companies in crisis such as Bear Stearns during its sale to J.P. Morgan, Volkswagen during its emissions scandal, Valiant's questions over high drug pricing. On policy, Clayton is expected to play a critical role in this administration's effort to roll back regulations. Back to you.
Word this noon, the President-elect Donald Trump has selected Wall Street lawyer Jay Clayton to head up the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Joining us right now is Jay Clayton. He's the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. He's also, of course, the former SEC chair.
These are really elevated valuations, Dan. I don't care what's going on with AI. Is it just not a concern to you personally?
Look, I mean, you've talked about it over the years. If you look just at 1 year valuation or 2 year valuation, you missed every transformational tech stock the last 20 years. It's my view in AI, a fourth industrial revolution, you look at the next 3-4 years, 3 to 4 trillion that's going to be spent. I mean, more money is going to be spent next 3-4 years than the last 10-12 years combined. So when I look at a name like Zscaler or names like CrowdStrike in terms of cybersecurity, you're not getting really what I view as even an AI multiple for what could be an incremental 30-40% revenue of the total company today over the coming years. That's my view in terms of how you have to look at it. And that's what we're talking about Palantir. $1 trillion market cap next 2 to 3 years.
Could a 50-year mortgage option be on the horizon? The Trump administration raising the prospect of such a loan over the weekend. Our Diana Olick joins us now with the story. Diana, so how would this work?
Well, so, Sarah, in an attempt to make home buying more affordable, President Trump floated the idea of a 50-year mortgage in social media posts. In response, FHFA Director Bill Pulte, who oversees Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, posted that they are, quote, working on it and that it would be, quote, a complete game changer. Now, the purpose of a longer-term mortgage would be to lower the monthly payment for homeowners. The longer the term of the loan, the smaller the principal needed each month to pay it off in full. Now, using the latest median sale price of a home from September, that's $415,200 according to the realtors, and the current interest rate of about 6.3% according to Mortgage News Daily, on a 30-year fixed loan with a 20% down payment, the monthly payment of just principal and interest would be $2,056. If you raise the length to 50 years at the same interest rate, that payment would be $1,823, and that's a savings of $233 per month. Homeowners, however, would not build equity as quickly because their principal payments would be smaller, and the amount of interest paid to lenders would be 40% higher. Now, the real question, though, is can Fannie and Freddie do this? Analysts say it is possible, but a 50-year mortgage does not currently meet the definition of a qualified mortgage under the Dodd-Frank Act, which provides investors with a backup from Fannie and Freddie if the loan should go bad. But regulators were given the authority to change that in order to ensure mortgage affordability. That, however, could take up to a year, according to Jarrett Seberg of TD Cowen. Seberg notes that we still just really need more housing because without more, home prices will continue to be inflated no matter what the mortgage rate is. Guys.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And you know I come back with that video just to make you think. And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. Also, go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Trump speaking on that $2,000 dividend check again. And of course, he speaks about tariffs. And I'm going to speak about that later. And then he brings up the healthcare system. He wants to get the money straight to the people. And who used to say the same thing just like that? That's right, George Bush Jr. That's all he kept saying. Social Security, get it to the people. Healthcare, get the money straight to the people. When we know the people do not do the right thing with their money. But this is all a setup for universal basic income. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have JP Morgan being investigated due to debanking Trump. And guys, this is nothing but the Hegelian dialectic. Don't forget, we see Trump and family pushing Bitcoin and crypto, all sectors of this fourth industrial revolution. And when he was in there in the first term, he actually was pushing AI just behind the scene. But also, guys, what a lot of people forget is that he put Jay Clayton, the head of the SEC, and who took out the lawsuit against Ripple. That's right, Jay Clayton. Guys, remember, your life is an illusion. TV is your reality. They hope that you forget. And of course, the sheep have no clue because they can care less. They stay focused on things that don't matter. But it's the same chess pieces being moved around. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And then we have CNBC speaking about these AI valuations. Of course, they don't make any sense unless you know about the fourth industrial revolution. But 2026 and 2028, 29 is time to build. So these AI stocks are definitely going to be volatile and pulling back while the building process is happening. And then when it's time for liftoff, these NWO utility stocks and cryptos are going to pump. We've seen this movie before. And then we have Trump on a 50-year mortgage. And we know the word mortgage means what? That's right, death pledge. If you have the NWO book, you already know. If you don't have the NWO book, make sure you go buy it because a new one is about to drop. But doing a 50-year mortgage makes no sense whatsoever. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have eToro on CNBC and how they're using AI to improve the app. And we're seeing people use AI on a daily basis now, but not understanding the agenda. Remember, you want to use the technology. You don't want the technology to use you because AI and these AI agents are going to remember everything. And that information is going to be used against you. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Fed Stephen Marin on rate cuts and tariffs. And we're going to see what the Supreme Court does with these tariffs. And if they make a decision against them, we're going to have a lot of volatility, but it's going to allow inflation to come down. But that also means no $2,000 dividend check and a whole lot of money that has to go back to these companies. So we're going to get our popcorn, sit back, and let it play out. And then also the Fed would have to pause just due to clarity. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And then we have the new Virginia governor, the first female governor, asked about AI and data centers on CBS Face the Nation. The governor speaks about the energy crisis that's coming. And guys, we know when it comes to VA, it's the military hub. And we see Langley VA on TV all the time, which is better known as the CIA. And never forget, when it came to Bitcoin mining, that's all they talked about was all the energy. Oh my gracious, they're using too much energy. And then when the data centers came, we saw this was nothing but a setup for the data centers. And we heard no word when it comes to energy. They'll say it's okay. We're going to make it happen. We'll find other ways of getting the energy. How quickly the narrative changes. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Because he knows, when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Doubling triple down on AI. We launched our AI analyst within the app, Tori. We just announced the ability of our pro investors to actually build apps into the App Store. So basically scaling up innovation, potentially 100x, when our actual pro investors can now build apps within the eToro platform to deliver both their strategies, their insights, their terminals. And in marketing, we believe in market education. We believe people across the globe always need to learn more about the markets, capital markets, stock markets, and crypto markets. And we're using a lot of AI to create amazing ads, amazing video ads. I think more than 100 video ads this year to help people learn more about the markets and how they can improve as investors in the market.
Not just about this platinum tier, but the copy trader product and what that allows users to do.
Sure. So we invented the concept of copy trading and social trading 15 years ago. We just met with our top 200 investors in our annual investor summit in Europe. And we just launched Copy Trader here in the US. With Copy Trader, our customers can actually select an amount and decide to automatically copy the top investor on eToro. So basically copying their entire portfolio to your selected amount of $1,000. And then every time they trade, it trades in your account at the same time, the same price, and the same proportion. As just as an example, our top investor today in eToro had started the year with $50 million of assets under management and ended the year with $250 million of assets under management of basically about 40,000 users in eToro copying them.
Some people are still worried that the tariff inflation hasn't fully showed up yet.
People have been worried about that all year long, and they've been marking
but that's still, even if you say inflation is backward-looking, they say, okay, well, there are risks to the upside going forward.
They've been marking their forecast for tariff inflation down all year long. People have been moving in my direction on tariff inflation all year long. And on top of that, if tariff inflation does materialize, it is the definition of the type of thing that the central bank should look through. If tariff inflation were to materialize, it is the kind of one-off, fiscally driven price increase that is not indicative of underlying changes in supply and demand, right? You worry about second-round effects if demand is outstripping supply, and therefore there's going to be persistent upward pressures on prices. If prices move higher because there's a fiscally mandated price change, whether it's a tariff or a value-added tax or something that happens in healthcare or whatever it is, that's not the type of thing that gives rise to persistent demand outstripping supply that would cause persistent inflation effects. It's the definition of the one-off that the central bank should look through if it were to materialize.
Wallers argued that.
Governor-elect, artificial intelligence has created a really big demand for these data centers, and Virginia has the world's largest concentration of them. But looking towards the future, we have to be clear-eyed about the fact that we will have an energy crisis headed into the future.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance, agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a Treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.